so glad you're all here, and I'm so excited. And now that this evening has arrived, I find I'm a little bit nervous too. So anyway, I'm going to chat for a bit, and I'm going to ask you to be patient with me because I'm using words to talk about energetics is challenging at the very least. I'm using words that are designed to talk about form in order to talk to you about that which is back of form. So if I'm not entirely clear, kind of roll with it and feel free to ask me questions after service or class, depending on. Wondering about how to do it to actually doing it. It's one thing to have a dream in your head, and it's another thing to have a deadline that actually makes you put some legs on it. So when I work with people one-on-one, my goal is to create a safe space for them to raise their vibration and to release that which no longer serves them. My conundrum about doing this kind of a thing was, how do I do that in a group setting? How do I create a safe space and work with multiple people at once to raise energy and release that which no longer works or no longer serves you? Enter solfeggio vibrations. During a conversation with my mentor, she mentioned that at her church, they'd started doing some evening healing services and had started playing with the solfeggio frequencies, and people were noticing results. But what really got me was a story that she told after one of their services. I think after the first service, they rent the upstairs of their building out to different individuals, one of whom is an energy worker. And the night after their first service, she came rushing downstairs to the office and said, "What did you guys do here last night?" She didn't know there had been a healing service. But she said every time she walked over the room where they had done the service, she could feel the energy. It actually made her lightheaded. And so she wanted to know what was going on. And that gets my attention, because when people notice something that they would have no way to notice that they're noticing, it makes me think something really happened. And so what it also said to me is that in addition to supporting individuals in raising their vibration, the solfeggio vibrations also create a safe container in the environment for that to happen. And I think that's really important. Again, when I work with people one-on-one, my goal is to create a safe environment, because when we feel safe, we can let go of that stuff that no longer serves us, and we can raise our vibration. And so to be able to do that in a group setting, to have this vibrational field created, which makes it safe for all of us to do that, I think was a win-win. And they also intrigued me because where I currently stand as a result of my healing training, my first ministerial ordination was with a hands-on healing ministry. Or actually, I won't say hands-on healing, it's with an energy healing ministry. And so, and at that point, what I learned is that healing is vibrational. And as I did my further reading in New Thought, and I started reading about Charles and Myrtle and Frederick Bales and different people that have done their own healing work, I came to the same conclusion. It's all vibrational. We are energy beings. Vibration is what we are. So I started to do my research and discovered that in the 1990s, Dr. Joseph Puleo, he's a physician and an herbalist, he began exploring the solfeggio frequencies, which are ancient. They've been around for a long, long time. The Gregorian chants were something that people utilize some of that, and there's a lot you can research on your own. I won't bore you too much with it, but anyway, this gentleman developed a theory that each of the 6 frequencies carried precise characteristics, and that the tones could therefore be used therapeutically. A Japanese study published in 2018 determined that the solfeggio frequency 528 hertz has an especially strong stress-reducing effect, even after only 5 minutes of exposure. It is thought that much in nature resonates with that 528 hertz frequency, and that there is some evidence that it can heal DNA. And again, I won't go into a lot of detail here because you can do your own research online. Know that you will run into some controversy, but also know that if you try and research affirmative prayer, you're going to run into some controversy. So then I started to sit with those frequencies in my own practice, and I started to know some significant changes within myself, both physically, emotionally, and energetically. So I decided to incorporate them into this healing service that I'm creating here. There are 4 threads that I want to pull together for you before we get started. One is that I believe healing is a vibrational activity of raising your energy. As you raise your energy, things get better. 2, raising your energy of necessity involves releasing that which vibrates lower than where you want to vibrate. Don't judge this. 3, you do the healing always. And 4, be persistent. Keep going. So 1, healing is a vibrational activity. All of our words, our prayers, our intentions are all about setting a vibrational field which we then embody. And as we do this, we begin slowly to match that vibration, and over time, we're able to sustain them. 2, as we raise our vibration, we reveal that within us which vibrates at a lower frequency. Old anger, shame, fear, guilt, as well as old patterns or habits of thought that are intertwined with those old emotions. And they are revealed simply because they are vibrating differently from where you are working to raise your energy to. Before you start to raise your vibration, you often don't notice them because you're familiar with them. You're used to them. This is not the best analogy, but for self-work especially, but raising your energy is like cleaning the mirror that you're sitting in front of and noticing that you've got dirt on your nose. As long as the mirror was dirty, you didn't notice that you had dirt on your nose. Some of us have been taught that lower frequency emotions, anger, guilt, shame, grief, etc., are bad or negative emotions, and that if we are to be spiritual, our work is to avoid feeling those bad feelings. I'd like to offer a different way of looking at that. First, I don't label anything as good or bad. I don't call the emotions that vibrate at a lower or slower frequency bad or negative, nor do I call the finer vibratory emotions or frequencies good or positive. The reality is that they're just vibrations. They're either lower and slower or higher and finer. In the world of form, things vibrate at different frequencies. Our physical bodies vibrate more slowly than our mental, emotional, or spiritual or astral bodies. Emotions have different vibrational frequencies as well. Emotions like love and joy have finer, higher vibrations, while emotions like anger and shame are slower, lower frequencies. The more we clear ourselves from these accumulated lower, slower frequency emotions or vibrations, the higher our frequency will rise, and our body and our world responds to this increase in vibration, just like it responds to if we lower our vibration. The world responds to that. It's almost like this lovely little feedback loop. 3, I believe that you do the healing always. Nothing outside of you heals you because there is nothing outside of you. Even when you go to a healer, I believe that it is you that does the healing. The healer can help by being a mirror, by pointing out what is not in alignment with what you're wanting to create or express, or what you're ready to let go of or transform. It can let you know about the dirt on your nose, the energetic toilet paper on your shoe. But you do the work. And the reason that I say this is because I've done enough energy work with people. And when I first started doing this work, I was taught that that the healer does the work. So we would actually look at somebody and we would remove the energy that we saw that they were ready to let go of. And I watched way too many people go when the healing session was over. And I think this happens for a couple of reasons. One is that sometimes the energy shift is too big. When we change too dramatically, everything starts to feel unsafe. Again, back to safety. If we're not feeling safe, we will make ourselves feel safe just by making ourselves feel familiar again, what we're used to. The other thing is that sometimes we're not ready to let something go, and that's okay. If you are in control of that, you will let go of what you're ready to let go when you're ready to let go of it. And finally, 4, keep going. I urge you to take this work into the rest of your week. You can go on YouTube and find solfeggio frequencies and play them while you're at work, during your meditation time, during dinner. Our physical bodies vibrate more slowly than our spiritual bodies. And because we're incarnated in this world of time and space, change through the physical just takes time. The change starts in your consciousness, in your energy body, and then moves into your physical body. Think of Myrtle, 2 years for a full healing. If you've heard of Anita Moorjani, she's an Indian woman who basically died and came back to life and had a revelation about who she truly was as spirit. Her body didn't go instantly. It took time. Her physical body is still in time and space. Frederick Bales, who was another New Thought teacher, healed himself of diabetes. It took several years for him to do that. The change in consciousness happens first, and that is where the healing, I believe, really is, and it takes a while for our bodies to catch up. If we lose faith, if we think it hasn't happened because our physical world or physical body hasn't caught up quick enough, then we actually stop holding our vibration high, and then we don't see the results that we want. So persist, stick with it. The format for the next 4 Wednesdays is going to be the same. We're going to set the stage. I'm going to talk a little bit. Mostly a brief talk, it probably won't be as long as this time, to orient us for the evening and to remind us of what we're here to do and of those things that can often slip away during our hectic weeks. And then the rest of the evening will be spent bathing ourselves in solfeggio vibrations, around which I would like to weave a positive new thought prayer. Part of why I want to do that is I want to help hold a container. Rather than just sort of bathing in these lovely frequencies, I'm wanting to hold an intention, a container, and remind everyone of what the truth of who we are is and what we're here to do. Tonight we'll be using that 528 hertz solfeggio frequency. It's also known as the love frequency. And as I said before, it's said to be present throughout nature and to be present in both chlorophyll and DNA. And I chose that one because as I was experimenting with them, it was the most gentle. And as an initial experience for everyone here, I wanted to do something that would be gentle and allow for kind of some, just some gentle shifting as we get started here. Tonight, I ask you to be willing to be willing. A willingness not just to be healed, but a willingness to release any of those old patterns and beliefs that we cherish so dearly and that we think still serve us. Remember Myrtle. She released or transformed all that she thought was negative, but she hadn't gotten to where she wanted to be. Spirit then instructed her to look in what her beliefs told her was positive, her so-called virtues. And Myrtle discovered that she was out of integrity with herself. So we too must be willing to release that which we are certain that we are right about. We must be willing to make room for a new truth, a new answer, a new perspective, a broader perspective. The more willing you are to welcome change, to entertain that the little t truth that you've been hanging on to might not be the only way to be with something, the more space you allow for transformation. So tonight, we're going to be creating a container for change. Before we, actually, it looked like there was a question, so. SOLFEGGIO. And the minute, and I promise you that Google will correct you if you type it wrong. So before we begin, I'd like you to focus on what it is that you are wanting to manifest, and then go back of it. For example, if you're wanting a romantic relationship, go back of it to love. What are you really wanting that romantic relationship for? Are you wanting to experience more love in your life? Become a container for love. Become a vessel for love. Become the embodiment of love. If you are wanting physical healing, go back of it. Become a vessel for joy, for wholeness, for abundance. If you remember Myrtle, she didn't just talk to her cells and say, I want you to be X. She said, I see you as whole. I see you as an idea of God. I see you as perfection manifest. She changed the vibration by going back of what she wanted, so that vibration was what was happening in her whole energetic field, and then eventually came through and was birthed in her physical field. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. Are you ready? Okay. So Cameron's going to start the music, and I'd like you to place both your feet on the floor and allow your body to relax. Allow your eyes to gently close, and allow your body to feel heavy. Imagine you're in a place in nature where you go, and your body relaxes. If it's by the water, imagine that you are sitting on the most comfortable rock you can imagine, and that the bottom of that rock goes deep into the sand or the soil. Or if you like to be in the mountains or the forest, imagine sitting on an old tree stump whose roots go deep, deep into the earth. When our bodies feel grounded and connected to the earth, they feel safe. And when they feel safe, your body will allow you to make a bigger energetic change. So that's always the first step. Let your body feel as safe as you can make it. And as your body relaxes, let's enter that world within. That world where no lines are drawn, no boundaries or edges exist, where all is one. Breathe deeply into that space around your heart and acknowledge that the one life, that is the only thing happening, period. Tonight, I'm going to begin the affirmative prayer with one that Dr. Richard wrote. And then during the course of the next 30 minutes or so, I will add to the prayer just to emphasize the container we're wanting to hold, to remind us of the capital T truth. Know that this will not disturb the work of the solfeggio vibrations. It will just serve to hold the container. Let your first prayer in all things be for a consciousness which can support all the good you desire to experience. Let your first prayer in all things be for a consciousness which can support all the good you desire to experience. This is the prayer which will catapult you into a life of steadfast, serendipitous wonder. And the only thing you'll have to relinquish to experience this is the illusion that you know what's best for your life. A flower doesn't know how to grow its bloom. The human doesn't know how to beat its heart. The planet doesn't know how to navigate its path. And yet, there is a wisdom within each of these things which does know how to grow the flower's bloom, which does know how to beat the human's heart, which does know how to navigate the planet's path, each with startling precision. And you are a unique expression of this wisdom, this one life, which forever explores the limitlessness of its world through the limitlessness of its creation. You are a once-in-a-lifetime individualization of the only life that exists. There has never been another you. There will never be another you. And you are immersed in limitless possibility regarding every area of your life. And this being true, let our first prayer in all things be for a consciousness which can support all the good we desire to experience. There's one life, only one life, one power, one presence, one love, one wisdom, one mind, one infinite, all that is. And because there is only one, there cannot be you and God or me and God. There is only one. And therefore all that is true of it is true of each one of us in this room right now. There is only wisdom here. There is only love here. There is only wholeness here. As you sit, pay attention to your energetic self, to your body. And just notice what you notice. If you feel anxious or it's a place that feels tense, just breathe into it. Allow it to be. No resistance. Let these higher frequencies wash it away. trunk or rock or patch of ground that you're sitting on just flows into the earth to be transmuted. And as it flows out, this higher frequency flows in to take its place. And now you are vibrating just a little bit higher than you were before. Inseparable from the one life, from this infinite power, this infinite love, this wisdom, this peace, this infinite consciousness, this God's state of being. You are inseparable from it. It is one with you. You are one with it. There is no separation. All lines fall away. All boundaries cease to exist because they were never there to begin with. Desires is already yours. It is already right where you are. And so again, if you're noticing anything that seems to resist that, just breathe into it. Don't resist. Let it be. Allow it to fall away. Breathe that higher vibration into it, transmuting it. You can bless it. And let it go. Releasing down into the earth where it is transmuted. Allowing a higher vibration to take its place. is one infinite wholeness. It is perfect. It is complete. There is nothing missing. Every cell in your body vibrates to this wholeness. Every cell in your body vibrates to that energetic frequency of perfection, for it is a God idea. It is a God idea slowed down to the miracle of a cell, life breathing in and out, circulating throughout. Know the perfect idea behind every cell. Feel the life and the vibrancy. Know that that is the truth of you, and allow it to be. Once again, scan your body, your feelings, and just notice if there is anything that feels rigid or stuck or anxious, irritated. And just breathe into it. Breathe these vibrations that are all around you. Breathe into that. You can see the vibrations entering wherever you imagine that to be, and transmuting that. Become resistless. And allow it to fall away. And feel the rush of the higher vibration as it moves to fill the space that has just been vacated. Allow your vibration to increase that much more. Imagine turning your face up to the sun and allowing these pure vibrations to fill your being, tip to toe, and all around you in your auric field. Let the vibrations fill you like the warm sun on your face. Again of the truth of our being, that we are one with the one life. It is whole, it is perfect, it is complete, it is life, it is love, it is wisdom, it is peace, it is a joy that knows no bounds. And we are one with that because we cannot not be. And so all that is true of it is true of us right here, right now. And so that which you were asking for is already yours. And allow that truth to sink through all the layers of your being. once more. Feel into your emotions. Take stock of your body. If there's place that feels tense or tight or hard or rigid. Just breathe into it. Become resistless. Be willing to let it go. And know that as you let it go, your energy rises just a little more. And imagine being open at the top of your head, and just allow this beautiful frequency to pour into you, filling every nook and cranny, all through your body, from the top of your head, down through your face and your neck, and your shoulders, and your arms, and your torso, and your abdomen, down your legs, and out the bottom of your feet, allowing you to be an energy in movement. And allow that energy to fill out beyond your physical and into your auric field. And as you do so, know that your energy vibration is even higher. And just feel how that feels. And know with me once more that there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is our life now. We know that all that is true of it is true of us. We are the embodiment of love. We are the embodiment of wisdom. We are the embodiment of wholeness. We are the embodiment of choice. And as we feel into the truth of that, and let it take root a little bit deeper. Let us appreciate and give thanks for the knowing of this. And as we do so, we let it be so. And so it is. When you're ready, you can rediscover your body. Open your eyes. Thank you all for coming tonight. And know that if any of you, what I would like is for, before you leave, that you feel stable, what I like to call stable. So if you're feeling a little floaty, or if you're feeling like something got stirred up and you don't feel complete, we have 2 prayer chaplains who have agreed to be with us tonight that will, 3 prayer chaplains who are with us tonight who will pray with you, help you ground, help you if you want healing energy, just help you to feel stable as you leave. And otherwise, just feel free to sit a little bit until you feel like you got your sea legs again. Actually, I think we might have 4 prayer chaplains here. Yeah, we do. So if you need some support before you go, just make sure you feel in your body before you get in your car. I would appreciate that. And yeah, really. And you might just take stock for a moment and notice if you feel any different than when you walked in this morning. You can tell where I am. This evening. We've been here for a long time. Now, just notice if you feel any different than when you came in. And just try, if you do feel different, try and kind of feel that and get familiar with it. And that helps you also to hold your vibration when you've lifted it up. And then I encourage you to, play with the solfeggio. Like I said, we did the 528. It's all over the internet, YouTube. There's all different kinds of tones. There is even just the pure tone. If you're new to this, I would encourage you to do this stuff with music. First, the pure tone can be pretty powerful. And even for me, sitting with it, I was like, whoa. So the music, when it's embedded in the music, it's a little bit more gentle. So, and for the next 4 weeks, we will play with different frequencies, and I'll tell you a little bit about them before we do each one. And other than that, I'm happy to. The frequency is actually there. It's just the music is woven around it. And it's actually, I don't understand it completely because I'm not a musician. Probably Richard would be able to answer your questions better than I regarding that. Apparently John Lennon's Imagine was written in the 528 hertz frequency. Somebody else's, yeah. And so I don't know if I don't think it's necessarily just a single note. It's more a frequency. So yeah, and different ones do different things. This, like again, it's it's the love frequency, and when I listened to different ones, it was the gentlest. And I thought, as an introductory frequency, it would be a good place for everybody to start if you wanted to continue to play. So. I have a CD. I bought an MP3. The only problem with the YouTube ones is that you're grooving along, and then all of a sudden it's like, "Would you like to buy a car?" or "How about Geico?" So, yeah. And I actually discovered that just yesterday. So because I've been listening to them for a while and it hadn't happened, and I thought, oh yeah, that would be really great if you guys are all like totally into it, and then suddenly it's like Viagra or I don't know. Gloria? I'll be using different tones. The different tones that have different attributes. Some of them are good for releasing negative energy. Some of them are good. This one was kind of good for healing. This one they actually are starting to have research, from what I can tell, where this is actually starting to heal the water around DNA, which actually helps change and heal the DNA molecule itself. So for people that are having physical issues, when I started playing with this, my back was sore. After listening for 2 hours, my back was not sore. So, so I think it has it clearly does something, energetically, and that filters down into the physical body rather quickly. But there's other ones that do a variety of different things, and so we'll play with all of them. There's also some that use all of them at once. Again, I felt that was too intense as a starting place. Mm-mm. No, I don't. Oh, okay.
Where does the term solfeggio actually come from? My left brain
knew that. So I was actually more focused on what they did and kind of how they did. My understanding is it goes way back in time. Some monk figured it out, and he actually was teaching solfeggio. I think it was with the actual really solfeggio stuff. He was teaching monks how to sing, and he started using this scale that was the solfeggio scale. Again, YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, Google. Have fun. Mm-hmm. They actually have ones that are for sleep, so you can, and they last for hours. So no, I don't. That said, I would say, pay attention to yourself. To me, the whole key to holding healing has been to not overdo, because the body, when you can start to feel, you can tolerate a little bit of anxiety, and you breathe into it, and your body goes ah. And then you breathe into it and your body goes ah. And then you get to a point where you go, the body's not going ah anymore. And that's when you might have taken it too far. And it's not that it's harmful, is that when the body gets nervous, it doesn't hold on to the change as well. So oftentimes, like when I'm doing work with people and they're trying to release something, they can't move it all out at once. But sometimes they can move it a little bit away and then get used to it being a little bit farther away. And it can be anything. So if they have a little bit of space, then they can hold the frequency better, or hold the shift better. And so that's why I say, if you can, I want you to feel stable before you leave, because then you can hold your change a little bit better. And then the other thing is consistency, because if you keep, you can make this little change, and then you go back into your life, and the next thing you know, you're right back where you started. So again, the benefit of doing a little bit of work, 15 minutes a day, while you're eating dinner, not while you're watching TV, but while you're eating dinner, while you're meditating, at 15 minutes before you go to sleep, all of that will kind of bathe you, kind of remind your vibratory field of what that feels like. And then you start to hold on to it a little bit better. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you all for coming. It was such an exciting evening. Thank you.